Hello everyone, welcome to week 5. It's hard to believe it's our last week. These 5 weeks have gone by really fast. I'm sure they have for you as well. I just want to go over a couple of quick things in the video this week. I don't want to go too long because I want to give you plenty of time to work on your final projects. In fact, the first thing I'm going to talk about actually is grades. As you can see, I haven't actually posted any grades this quarter. I'm going to be working on, over tomorrow and Wednesday, posting all of the grades that you've done so far, grading your blogs. And honestly, as long as you've kept up with those assignments, you'll get full credit on those. I'm going to focus really on making sure, especially because you've had a rough draft to go through to make your final project kind of the culmination, the major graded portion of this class. If you have any other questions about that, let me know, email me. Make sure you check Blackboard over the next couple of days to see your grades and make sure I don't miss anything as well. The next step then is to talk about last week, talk about the blog projects that have been there, and again, I think we had a really great discussion. I love talking about social media because I think it's really misunderstood, and it's something that I've really started to use a lot and started to try to understand, because I think it has great potential for journalism. But as many of you mentioned, it's hard to get beyond the idea that Twitter is just for, talking about your breakfast or whatever. I mean, it's hard to say anything substantive in 140 characters. That's why the best uses of social media and Twitter and Facebook is to provide context, to use that 140 characters to introduce people or to talk to them or start a conversation. One of the great things that I mentioned on the discussion or on the comments to your blog posts again is just the idea of using Twitter for links. I said on the discussion board, and I really mean it, I actually find I get most of my news from Twitter now because I'm interested in the stories that my friends are reading, my friends that have taken enough time to link to on Twitter. I'll follow those stories and I'll read through those. A lot more than I'll go to, NewYorkTimes.com and just start reading from top to bottom. I think that's an area, an arena where journalists can really get involved. And they can really help to say, here's the information that's important that our audiences really need to hear. In academic circles, we talk about that as curation. Of taking all the information out there, distilling it to give people what's best. And I think that's a journalistic function, not too far from what we talked about, the first week with what is news and how the inverted pyramid works into that. Really, the inverted pyramid is just distilling information down for an audience. This week, then, we're wrapping things up, and I tried to provide information on what we call convergence. This idea that in the media we can bring a bunch of different media together to form a more comprehensive and coherent package. And the two real keys to convergence are those 2 points that I mentioned in there. The idea of providing context and providing continuity. Think of it in terms of a package that you see online. The main story will kind of cover all the bases. We'll introduce the topic, provide some statistics, provide some information, and then think about, the sidebar you see. It may focus on one element or one person. And then the video, that should really focus on action, on things that are going on things that work really well on video. You don't want a video that's just a bunch of interviews, if you're working on a big professional project at the Washington Post, for example. And that's really how convergence works. If we're going to put multimedia bundles together, we can't just do it for the sake of, we're on the internet, we might as well put a video with the story. We need to really consider the advantages of the medium, what our audience needs, and how we can get that message to them better. Maybe video sometimes is a better way to do it, in conjunction with another story. I tried to provide a lot of examples in the PowerPoint. I checked the links to make sure they worked. Because, convergence is kind of one of those things where you almost have to see it to know what it is. I guess the only other thing that I talked about, and I saw on the blogs that one of you had questions about how to post things on WordPress. That's going to be the major activity this week. So if any of those things come up, email me or post something more onto the blogs or the discussion board, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. I know I tried to go over a lot of that in last week's video, but I know the video was kind of hard to see. I think I lost a lot of the image quality on that screen capture. So if you have questions about WordPress, please let me know. Thanks for a great quarter, and I'm sure we'll be talking the rest of this week about your projects. Grades are due next week, so I will get back comments on your final projects as soon as I can at the beginning of next week. All right, thanks. Have a great week. Hey everyone, for our last video this week, I just want to go over the PowerPoint really briefly and some of the comments that were made in the discussion board this week. Hi everyone, this week's video is going to be short because I know you want to work on your projects and I don't want to interrupt that too much. This is my son Alex. I'm working at home today, so he keeps bothering us.
Hi.
Because I wanted you to just kind of focus on summing up and then... Hi everyone, welcome to week 5. This is our last week together. And I'm working from home today. As you can see, this is Greta and this is Lincoln, the Cub Scout, and the spaz over here is Alex. Say hi everybody.
Hi.